we have writing workshop, we always refer to the kids as writers, because they are. And regardless of whether they're still learning how to write the letters in their name or they're writing several sentences, they're writing. So when we start writing workshop in kindergarten, they really are writing for just a couple minutes. And as the year builds on, the time that we expect them to write becomes longer and longer as they have more to say.
It's almost like writing a personal narrative, right? Like something true that happened in your life. In 5th grade, a writing workshop is a living, breathing, messy, daily place in which we try out our ideas.
What are you going to take from the website?
Writing is such a vulnerable act that putting your own words and ideas out for an audience, public to read, is very personal. So we have to invest the time and build the relationships that will bring out the writer in each of us, and me included.
I just feel really strongly about those three.
So in building a community of writers, it's so important that children feel safe, that their ideas are heard, so giving them plenty of time to talk to a writing partner, to a small group, or reflect, in a larger group setting. And that kind of goes back to the community piece, because you just have to feel so safe and know that every writer in here is rooting for the others.
I was excited.
Kids need to know how to talk about their stories and understand what a story is, things that happen to them in their everyday life, and just learn how to have a conversation and to tell that story orally. So it really plays an important part in the writing workshop, because before the kids are getting their story on paper, they need to be able to share about it and talk about it so that they then know what they are going to write. So today, we're going to look at Mo's books and see how he starts his stories, what the leads in his stories sound like, and we'll see if maybe we can try some of those ideas in our own writing as we work on our leads. So one of the things that I love about the workshop model is that it really kind of evens the playing field for the students. So regardless of what level they are currently working in, hearing the mini lesson and then applying it on their own, in their own way. I think she was thinking like Mo, and instead of doing one of his ideas that we heard, she came up with a whole other idea on her own. It's kind of the meat of what a writing workshop should look like. And so choice plays a really big role into that. The story that I'm working on is going to be different than my neighbors and my best friends across the room, but I'm taking in what the teacher has taught me, taking in that mini lesson and applying it in my own story in the way that I best can. So I think the writing workshop time is a time where they really are at work as writers. So it's not about me giving them an assigned task or a prompt to write about. It's really what they are doing during that workshop time. And that might mean that they're working on the same story for several days and finding ways to make their writing better, looking for things that are going to draw their readers in. And it's a time for them to really hone the craft of writing.
Okay, I'm going to come back and I want to see that detail about the colors of the lights.
As writers, we want to figure out what types of evidence might we provide our reader to make our argument stronger. Today I'm going to share with you where I am in my writing, and the topic I had chosen that I felt very passionate about was elementary schools should offer band, strings. In the focus lesson, I'm using my own writing to serve as a mentor text and to model the kinds of decisions and thought process that a writer goes through herself. Talk about that little story, tell that little story with your partner. What questions do you have? People will identify themselves as readers, but won't necessarily identify themselves as writers. And I was certainly one of those people, one of those teachers. I was nervous about writing or sharing my writing in front of kids and other teachers. But the more I read about teaching writing, the more often I saw that teachers need to be writers too. And so it's okay to put yourself out there. In fact, I think that's one of the things that makes us a stronger community. The writing workshop can feel unwieldy, whether you're a veteran teacher or brand new. And I would say really lean on that structure, a mini lesson, big chunk of time to write, and a share. What happens in between is going to get better and better.
Just stick with it. It takes a long time to be able to see the fruits of your labor, especially when doing a kindergarten writing workshop, but the children can and they will show you that they can write powerful and beautiful stories if you stick with it. And it might mean that, at the beginning of the year, you're just kind of seeing basic pictures, but by the end of the year, if you stick with it, they can write some really incredible stories that you are proud of and that they are proud of too.
What kind of cheer would you like for your great writing today? Let's do a roller coaster cheer. Good job, Nathaniel.